Guaranteed. Have you decided on your answer? Yeah, I've decided. Is it an unwavering answer? Yeah, it's unwavering. Then let me hear it. Oh, by the way, it seems Jessica decided to take the your life option. Surely such an indecisive person as you isn't going to choose the same answer, right? Jessica gave her own answer. No matter which choice that was, it was Jessica's answer. It doesn't influence my answer in any way. I see. Then let me ask again. Among the 3 mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. 1, your life. 2, Shannon's life. 3, everyone else's lives. Which one will you choose? Could it be the first one, like Jessica? Wrong. Oh, really? Oh? Gap looked a little surprised, because she had thought this timid-looking man would obviously choose that option. Oh, he's probably saying 3. I guess I got him and Jessica confused with how they actually are. Very well then. I'm glad the most boring option for me has been removed. Then, as crazy as it sounds, could it be the second option? Can you abandon Shannon's life? You must be joking. Why would I do that to the person I was going to give an engagement ring to tonight? How bold. Is that your answer? That's it. My answer is the 3rd option. Oh shit. George took the 3rd option. Everyone else's lives. Unsurprisingly, Gap hadn't imagined that he'd give an answer like that. She had been sure that he'd choose the same one as Jessica, so she was interested in how he had reached that answer. How he had reached an answer that had surpassed the imagination of the 33rd ranked of the 72 demons. I want you to tell me the circumstances that made it possible for you to sacrifice the lives of everyone else so that you and this fiancé you love would be safe. Did you use the process of elimination, like Jessica? Wrong. I clearly have no choice except this one. So you don't care what happens as long as it's good for you? So you can sacrifice the world for the woman you love? What are you even talking about? What? George faced the demon as he spoke, almost as though he was disgusted. Tonight, I plan on calling Shannon right here and giving her this ring as proof of our engagement. There probably are quite a few people who wouldn't celebrate an engagement between me and Shannon. I was prepared to make enemies of the entire family by announcing my engagement to her. I have been prepared. Since the time I came to this island. No, that's not it. Since the time that I confessed that I wanted to engage her. So you can sacrifice everything else as long as you can get married. Marriage means continuing to be your wife's ally for your whole life. At that point, I was prepared to have the entire world as my enemy for her sake. Those words through the 3-sided mirror also reached Shannon's ears, and that determination reached her eyes. Shannon certainly had promised to be given an engagement ring tonight. Then this incident had occurred, and she hadn't been able to receive the ring. But now, even though it wasn't in the form of a ring, Shannon had received something even greater. And as proof of that, a single tear with the same sparkle as a diamond dripped down. I accidentally skipped through that, but at least I was still able to read it. What a courageous answer. I see. If I really think about it, this was an easy decision for you. After all, your parents were already killed on the first twilight, right? But now there's no one whose death would trouble you. I see. Truly an easy choice. Say whatever you want. This determination and choice are mine, and mine is the successor. The sparkle in George's eyes was brilliantly sharp. For just an instant, Gap felt the same sense of threat as Kinzo's and was slightly overwhelmed. I see. Yes, the same decision as Goldsmith. Yeah, he definitely picked that. So even with your innocent face, you will also become a terrible demon in the future. What do you know? We might get along pretty well. You will succeed, Goldsmith. Eventually, I may even be summoned and serve you. That could be surprisingly interesting. Gappa needed to change her opinion of George. This man bore determination and resolve unimaginable from his outward appearance. And not just now, but since the very beginning. Determination! I'm prepared to inherit the headship right away. No, that's not it. You told me to think as the head in this test. So I answered based on the premise that I am the head. No, even that's not it. I thought as the head himself. I am now the head of the Ushiromiyas family. What? Splendid. To think that you'd be able to go so far. It seems you truly are one to be reckoned with. Battler's and Maria's tests remain, but I got a good feeling that you'll pass. But only if that is true, your true, unexaggerated answer, you see. Do you doubt my resolve? Can you carry out the option you chose? Can you right now, with your own hands, offer all the lives that exist on this island as sacrifices? By your own hand? Oh, shit. George, calm down. I can't. I said I was prepared to do so several times. Then return to the guest house right away and kill Battler and Maria. When that's done, I'll bring you the other hostages. Execute each of them except Shannon before her eyes. You can do it, right? I can. Motherfucker. George, stop! My resolve is on a whole different level from yours. Then carry it out. Death for them all. Complete this bloodstained ceremony as the new Ushiromiyas family head. Ah, shit. No, I'm getting a copyright claim again. No! Understood. I'll carry it out. I'm already the Ushiromiyas family head. Yes, that's right. Stain that throne red by your own hands. You become the king of the spirit world who controls the demons. Gap was convinced. This man truly was fitting to succeed Kinzo's madness. George, you good, bro? You good, bro? I don't know who's talking. Blow, wind, cry, thunder. Celebrate the birth of the new Demon King. The Demon Island has now welcomed its new lord. In response to the demon's call, a tempest raged more and more. Then a massive lightning bolt fell. Its tearing thunder and brilliant light giving the sensation of a moment of silence. So George was psycho this whole time too, just like Kyrie? What the fuck? So, about the order of the murders, I get to choose that, right? Please, wish your majesty, the new demon king of Urokanjima, as your heart desires. There's no way George would actually start by killing them. Well then, to start, that means the first one's gonna be you. Got a problem with that? Oh, yep, figured he'd do something like that. Huh? A gust of wind blew, stirring up George's jacket as if it was a cloak, and fucking music going ham right now. It was very much like the cloak of the Warned by the Head. It definitely carried that impression of dignity. At that time, Gap truly did see the storm wiped away, and the sky covered with a pure white and vast full moon. The man who called himself the new head bore a full moon on his back and sneered at the demon. Even the lives of the entire Ushiromiyas family are now part of my fortune. Reparations will be made for the damage that's been done, and it won't come cheap. You didn't seriously think you could take my parents, Aunt Natsuhi, and Uncle Rudolph, Aunt Rosa, and Genji's lives, and expect me to overlook it, right? Impertinence. George, do know that's wrong, please. Ronove was trying to press his palm against Jessica's chest and stop her heart, but right before he could, his hand stopped. Motorcycle gun, man. On the carpet at their feet, two small red flowers bloomed with a plop plop. The seed of those flowers was way up high, piercing into the heavens on Jessica's fist. Ronove's nose was stained red with spewing blood. Is she fighting Ronove? Don't do that. And those drops had been dripping onto the carpet. Battle theme, yay. By the way, that just now was my answer as a maiden. My answer as a successor is different. Allow me to ask. The person I love, my family and my relatives, everyone. I'll protect them. If I'm the head, then that's my duty. Dad wasn't just swaggering around. He protected me and Mom. He fought the pressure of succeeding the Ushiromiyas family for decades. That's why I know. Now the music's going real ham. What the fuck? That's why I know. Being the successor is nothing trivial. So you know what? I can give it up. Betting my own life is something I can do easily. Jessica knew. She knew that in order to protect her family, her father had bluffed and fought alone continuously. Jessica understood something that his back had been telling her. Motorcycle gun, man. Another left straight was buried into Ronove's face. That terrifying strike wasn't due just to the brass knuckles she was using. Brass knuckles? Calm down. It was a strike of a person, a family head, who could throw away everything in order to protect. If Dad's lost his qualifications to be his successor, then I, the next in line, will succeed the headship. Oh my god, everyone's fucking got new expressions, and it's... What the... Head of the Ushiromiya family! Ushiromiya Jessica! I'm not the kind of coward who lets you do whatever you like anymore. A wonderful answer! Shall change your score from earlier. Plus 10 for that answer. Plus 10 for that splendid rough straight. Nice punch. Which means that plus 20 more would make for a perfect 100, yeah? As Ronove jumped backwards, somersaulting in midair, he violently wiped away the blood pouring from his nose. It had become not blood, but petals of a red rose. The blood on his face was wiped off, and in its place was a grin filled with a delight he hadn't felt in so many centuries that he couldn't remember. I, Ronove, will test to see whether your resolve is worth full marks, understand? Shut up, shut up! Come at me! Oh shit, that stuff again. And George is fighting her? What the heck? Come into the abyss! What? Oh, womp. Suddenly, beneath George's feet, a pitch-black pitfall opened its mouth wide. Of course, George had no way of resisting. After being swallowed up by that, George fell out of a pitch-black hole that had opened up in the ceiling of the arbor. Oh, CGs. Action shots. Put your legs away. As George fell down, he was hit by a reverse roundhouse kick from a sharp stiletto heel, like a strike from a carefully aimed bee. Oh god. The instant George, after being blown out of the arbor, thought that he'd be swallowed up by a rose bush. Another pitch-black hole opened there and swallowed George up. And this time, the pitch-black hole opened at Gap's feet before her eyes, spitting a defenseless George out of it. At that time, Gap had already finished the preparatory motions for the next reverse roundhouse kick. What is this? And it's zooming. Christ. Welcome back? Oh god, stop hurting George! Right side of the head, below the right armpit, side of the right knee. As Gap danced and spun like a small cyclone, she kept hitting him. Left foot, right foot, with successive roundhouse kicks. The fourth one became a sweep, cutting George's feet out from under him and making him fall down. But of course there was no floor there but a pitch-black hole, and George was swallowed up once again. Gap once again spun around like a small cyclone. George was once again spat out from the ceiling of the arbor. Take this and reflect. The abyss ends with a single strike. Die! Jesus Christ. After saying all that, if George just ups and dies... Oh, the rain's back. The sharp strike of the queen bee pierced the heavens like a rising cyclone. It kicked through George's lower chest as he fell from the ceiling. And then time froze. George was pinned in midair by Gap's raised leg. Still pinned in midair, George moaned. Then Gap, with George still hung up on her foot, grinned. I'll admit it. At least your attitude of that is that of an adult. That's no good unless you have power to go with it. Did you know? They say you need 3 kinds of power to rule this world. The first one is influence. The second is wealth. Do you know what the last one is? I read it in a book. Force, right? Correct. And that's where you're lacking. Gap finally released George. She kicked upwards one more time, changing into another roundhouse kick and knocking him into a pillar. Christ. No one will fear a monarch without influence, without wealth, or without force. Kinzo possessed all 3 of those. That's why he reigned as a tyrant. If you're going to call yourself Kinzo's successor, try showing me a bit of that majesty, okay? Come on. How long are you gonna sleep there? Stand up, okay? If you don't, you'll fall again, see? Not bad movements, but I feel they are slightly unfitting for a lady. Oh, everyone has CGs. Bastard! Swing around all over the place. Are you gonna strike back? Don't take me lightly, you fucking bastard. Ronove dodged skillfully, jumped back, and avoided Jessica's fist, but he still didn't strike back himself. Because of his dodge that was as rapid as a fluttering flag blown by strong winds, Jessica's fist wasn't even able to touch him. Amidst the sensation that her own blood was boiling, Jessica regained her offensive composure. Even though this room was large for a bedroom, it was a very cramped place to keep up such exaggerated dodges in for long. She calmly realized that and started using not just her fists, but her legs as well. Oh, boxing with just your arms makes you but half a fighter. Your arms must be like the hot roar of a lion, and your legs must be like the cold snake closing in on its prey. Snakes don't have legs. True. What the fuck? What is this dialogue, and why is it entertaining? Why is it funny, rather, not entertaining? Of course it's entertaining. I'm having a great time. Jessica began cornering Ronove towards the wall with perfect footwork. She didn't let him get around her. Ronove's magnificent dodges looked flashy, but they needed a large footing. Once cornered, he wouldn't be able to dodge anymore. Jessica knew the characteristics of her weapon, the brass knuckle, very well. This powerful weapon's most notable characteristic was how it didn't give the opponent a chance to defend. Even if they blocked with their arm, that arm would receive direct damage. If it hit the wrong way, it might even break the bone, so she cornered him. With this fist, she'd whittle away at this demon who'd lost any way to escape. Oops. Oh, when did... Looks like I finally cornered you, right? Where is everyone being held? Where's that damn geezer? You tell me everything, and I'll let you off with nothing more than plucking that mustache off. Got it? Not my mustache. That would be a problem. It does take me an hour every morning to set this. Once you're in a cast, you won't even be able to do that, right? Oh shit. He has a CG too. Oops. Ronove had blocked Jessica's fist with his arm. He tried to act as though it was no big deal, but it must have hurt a lot. Jessica grinned. Ronove smiled the same way, but twitched slightly. You see, this certainly does hurt. Here's my last bit of advice. Cry and apologize. That I cannot do. It would ruin my image. Then just crumple. Rapid fire! Jessica's fists were buried into Ronove, but there was a resistance that seemed too hard, and the sound of breaking glass which startled Jessica. What? At a glance, it looked like Ronove had caught Jessica's fist with its palm. That wasn't quite true. Oh, he has a fucking shield. When Ronove opened his hand, a faint purple glowing barrier like a glass shield appeared, stopping the attack by a hair's breadth. Huh. Pulling herself together, Jessica let her fist fly again. With a truly magnificent gesture, Ronove caught all of them. I am, after all, a demon. This level of magic is nothing. Even so, you aren't bad at all. If I were a human, I would probably resign right here. Because I am a demon, I can still continue to fight. What are you trying to pull? Is this the end? Are you simply going to attack all the time while neglecting your defense? Huh? Ah! Does he have a fucking counter? Ronove's palm shot to within a hair's breadth of Jessica's stomach. Jessica was knocked away by the purple shield, rolled backwards, and smashed her head on the bed. My shield cannot be broken by a mere human. Don't think that you'll ever be able to touch my body again. In that case, I'll just burst through that shield! Persistent, I see. Yes, a truly fitting spirit for successor. Perhaps I'll be your opponent for just a while longer. This is also part of an examiner's role. Break! Ah! And back to Gap George. Gap looked down on George, sneering. George was on a path into Rose Garden, lying face down in a puddle. The merciless rain beat down on him, so that it looked as though even the heavens were mocking him. Stand up, okay? You fall again, right? George stood up shakily. It seemed his spirit hadn't given in, but the damage done to his body was fairly significant. Think through your life. What you're doing now is the same as the fourth option of choosing nothing. You chose the third option, right? If you get down on your hands and knees and apologize, I'll forgive your rudeness towards me. Then I'll guide you down to the dungeon. There, for your beloved Shannon and your own powerless life, you will kill the other hostages one by one. You can do it, right? You did boast about having that resolve. Oh, he's making his crazy face again. George didn't answer, but his gaze was still obstinately resisting surrender. If you're too obstinate, then this time you really will fall to the deepest depths of the abyss, okay? Gap's strength was evident. That was probably queer, even more than it was to George himself. To Shannon's group watching through the three-sided mirror.
George, that's enough for someone like me.
Shannon.
If you didn't like me, you wouldn't have to fight with anyone, right, George? Then please, abandon me. Please forget me.
There was no way that voice could have reached George. But even so, George answered. No way. I won't surrender. Oh? Why not? Because that's my resolve. I'll fight everything for Shannon's sake, and I'll make everything accept us and bless us. Hey, could you tell me something? Why are you willing to go so far for that furniture called Shannon? She's just a washout, isn't she? You're no hero, you're a washout. Wrong game, Hades, but long time no see. Oh yes, I do not have a good James Woods impression, ha ha ha. Rubbish furniture, that couldn't even make a satisfactory waitress. I won't permit any more insults against the woman I love. So what are you going to do about it? How could a weak kid like you resist me? Loving someone's strength, because I learned that I was able to become strong. Shannon, I love you. With just those words, I can stand back up, over and over again. Shannon's in the dungeon, right? Professing your love to me won't... No, she heard. That's because it's love. Shannon can hear my words right now. Well, she can, but... The reason I can believe that is because of love. You... Jesus Christ. Shannon, you aren't furniture. Even if you are furniture, you're mine alone, the only one for me in the world. I want you to be close to me as long as we live. I need you for all eternity.
George.
I'm jealous. You surpassed my husband in smooth talking. That's youth for you. He plans on killing you all. Well, probably not, actually. The strength of love. Then why are you so weak, boy? Boy, does that weakness mean your love is also that weak? Even your love for your fiancé is weak. The way your parents died so quickly was weak. Everything about your life is weak. Shannon taught me about love and strength. If you're trying to measure my love towards Shannon by my strength alone, let me teach you about my love. So you say? I get it now. You're saying that the way you can still stand up after being kicked down so many times is the strength you receive from Shannon. In that case, what did you receive from your parents who got killed way too easily? At that time, there was a blackout, even though they were outside. No. This is... Oh, fuck. Ha, get kicked. The thing blocking Gap's vision was the bottom of George's shoe. What did he get from Ivan Hideyoshi? Fucking kicking people. Sidekick. Nasal bone fractured. It had stopped right in front of the tip of Gap's nose. The thing I got from Mom was this kick. What the... Several moments after, Gap jumped back. What's with the fucking... Maramba music? Of course, that was too late. If George hadn't stopped, he would probably have caused the damage he'd announced. And what I got from Dad is fortitude. Anger with a low boiling point isn't something to be truly feared. True anger is disciplined by fortitude. I recognize your violent method of declaring your intentions. I also see that you've slandered my fiancé and my parents' honor. And you have no intention of taking back what you said, yes? You... I now understand your attack's more than enough. So maybe it's about time. Time to start fighting back. Quit prattling, foolish boy! A pitch black hole opened its mouth at George's feet. But George rapidly opened his legs, straddling the hole. The same move won't work again. It was an extremely smooth dodge, and the upper part of his body didn't even quiver. fortitude means calmly analyzing how your opponent will act, instead of losing your cool. Why? Isn't it obvious? Can't you guess?
No, I can't.
It's the counter, to give back exactly what you got, to make them not want to take another pass at you, to make them cover their face in tears and snot and forget to wash it off, to make them want to rub their forehead on the ground and apologize over and over, to completely, perfectly, and thoroughly beat them until they can't get up. Oh god. George dashed. Pitfalls opened one after another, but George didn't step in them again. And because he was persistent, he was able to reach Gap a second time. Reverse roundhouse. Jaw fracture. Oh Jesus. We're combining CGs again. It was stretched out more forcefully and beautifully than Gap's had been. Of course, while it centered directly on Gap's face, it stopped a hair's breadth away. Perhaps he couldn't rely on pitfalls at this close range. Gap kicked at George's shins as a diversion, and in the instant of weakness when he tried to deal with that, she aimed a kick at his stomach. It was a bee-like stab by her stiletto heel, but it sliced through the air where George no longer was. Nothing personal, kid. High axe kick. Collarbone fractured. Oh shit. By Gap's side, George calmly announced that, his foot still raised. If that Monarch's heel had swung down, a collarbone fracture would probably have been the least of her worries.
This guy's stronger than me at close range? I need distance.
She jumped backwards to open a large gap between them. Where's my applause break? She jumped and wept and even flipped in midair, increasing that distance. It should have been significant, but for some reason, it was very similar to the movements of a small, scared animal. If she opened the distance between them, she'd be able to fight at the range that was her specialty, using a mixture of pitfalls and kicking techniques.
You fool! You'll regret the pride that made you let 3 chances of defeating me slide, as you fall into the depths of the abyss. Huh?
When she magnificently landed and tried to aim a pitfall, a razor-sharp wind cut Gap's bangs. Yes, it cut them. It happened twice. This time it didn't just stop a hair's breadth away, but scattered her bangs with its air pressure. Armada cum martello. The fundus of the eye fractured with the first strike. Cerebral contusion with the second strike. Gap was too shocked to speak. George had closed in over all that distance in an instant, letting off a fearsomely nimble mid-air double kick. Oh, it's like he closed the gap or something. Furthermore, with the accuracy and edge of a razor, it had cut nothing more than several of her bangs. I learned the power of kicks from karate, speed from taekwondo, and freedom of range from capoeira. Mom was pretty fickle, but I've learned from studying various merits.
Why don't you hit me?
You are going to say it's because I'm a woman, right? You spoke of force as a monarch's third power. Looks like you still misunderstand the meaning of that force. In this situation, force doesn't mean hastily wielded violence. It refers to a deterrent, knowledge that if someone opposes the monarch, that person won't get away unharmed.
A deterrent, you say?
In short, this is what it meant. This was why all of George's attacks up until then had stopped a hair's breadth away. These bare misses, which were more difficult than hitting directly, had all been performed so splendidly. Also, if George had wished it, any one of those would probably have crushed Gap. He had daringly not done that. You said it yourself, right? Force is the power to control. If you crush your opponent with force, you won't be able to control them, right? A monarch's force is something that is only shown. He does not crush. He makes others surrender and adds them to his own fortune. If you start blowing bubbles, I won't be able to make you guide me to where the hostages are. Gap had to admit it. She had to admit that George understood force in its truest sense. You'll take me to where everyone is. I would advise against resisting. I won't stop short next time.
Sorry, Leah. Let me borrow your troops. This guy's too much for me alone to handle.
Oh fuck, George is so toast. Ah shit. As a large pitch black hole opened in the sky, thunk thunk thunk, 3 muscular goat attendants fell out. They surrounded George. Reinforcements. should I take this to mean that you take back all that about me being weak? I admit it. I made light of your human power. That's wrong. Oh shit, he's smirking really hard. This is the strength of a man who's experienced love. How could you say stuff like that with a straight face? Come, goats! Crush this man and turn him into meatballs! These goats are stupid, but it looks like they at least have power. I'll turn you into a corpse that even your fiancé won't be able to recognize. You refuse to surrender and intend to continue fighting. Understood. But from now on, you will receive real harm proportional to your own attacks. If you still plan on attacking me, prepare to sustain a great deal of damage. Oh fuck. When George proclaimed that, a faint red magic circle rose up around him. It seemed that George couldn't see it. However, Gap, being a demon, could. That's Shannon's, right? Magic? Why does this guy have a defensive barrier? And that's also a counter-attacking type? Is this what you meant by a deterrent? From a demon's perspective, that may have been magic, but in George's eyes, it was determination. It was a determination filled with certainty, which would be merciless to anyone who wished to fight anymore, and which would force them to prepare for a significant counterattack. Determination with certainty becomes magic. Oh, and now we're here again. Runaway had been accurately blocking Jessica's fist with the shield, but something felt odd. Even though he was certainly catching them on the shield, he felt his arm get jarred and it hurt. It should have prevented all physical damage. However, the damage from her fist was gradually being transmitted to his arm, piling up. Runaway tried to act like he was composed, so that this wouldn't be noticed. I'm not gonna get worn out. What's wrong, old guy? Starting to get a little tough? No matter how much you attack, it is useless. Why can't you understand that you cannot break my shield? I'm not gonna stop hitting you just because it won't break. No matter how hard someone's heart is, if you keep on talking to them little by little, it'll eventually start to crack. I believe it. I believe that useless effort doesn't exist in this world. That's why I can live to the fullest. If words will eventually make it through, then the same goes for fists. Give up isn't written anywhere in my dictionary. Oh shit. Ding 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 da ding ding da ding ding. Those words were probably aimed at Cannon. Cannon, who had seemed to reject Jessica's words. But Jessica knew that, no matter how stubborn his heart was, those words would eventually soak through. She believed that they would surely reach his heart, that the day would come when he would stop calling himself furniture and disparaging himself, and that he'd step out into a new life. So Jessica didn't give up. She didn't lose heart. It's stupid, right? I'll bet a guy couldn't understand, right? A girl in love doesn't even think about giving up just because it's useless. At that time, Runaway certainly saw. He saw the reddish glow of light that encircled Jessica's fist. Oh, that? Again? This is not good. An enchantment, is it? This permeating upgrade will be troublesome. Inside her unrelenting fist and determination dwelled the power to succeed no matter what. From a demon's perspective, that was magic. Determination with certainty becomes magic. And dog bark. It's been an hour and a half, and finally... See? Nothing useless about it. Looks like my fists are making it through. Guard your arm, old guy. It seems I will have to get a little more serious. It appears it is as you said. In this world, nothing is useless. That's right. If you give up because something's useless, that's when your life ends. You'll get through. You can be sure of that. I'm an idiot, so this is the only way I can live. But even so, I'm sure I'll be able to teach Cannon about a new world someday. So I'm not going to lose heart in a place like this. I'll definitely defeat you and save everyone. Damn! Got to somehow open a hole. Ah! Krause was repeating his useless effort to somehow open a hole between the metal bars. Oh, dog bark. Useless. Nothing is useless. There's nothing. The lookout goats had been swallowed up by those black pitfalls and disappeared. Now was their once-in-a-lifetime chance. This was their only chance to break the bars. Stop it. It's impossible, Krause. There's nothing we can do with our bare hands. Let's look for a tool. Don't waste time on the impossible. If you give up because it's useless, then it's all over. That's what my daughter said. Even if my body won't fit, as long as a small person like Shannon or Cannon can make it through. Now that we've reached this point, action is more important than racking our brains. Let's work together. I'll do it too. Cannon, you're a boy, aren't you? Lend a hand.
Cannon?
Uh-oh.
You good, Cannon? Kraus, please stand back.
What? What are you planning?
Okay, Shannon, just one more time, let's try struggling. Yes, I too will struggle one more time. No, not just one more time. Over and over again.
Jessica's voice had reached Cannon. It certainly had permeated into his cool, rock-like heart. And George's voice had reached Shannon. If the love he had shown was embodied by strength, she would have to respond in the same way. Yep, they're cutting through it. Destroy that fence! Gate. An incredible metal sound rang out. In the first flash, several metal bars were severed horizontally, and in the next flash they were severed horizontally again, causing many metal bars to clatter to the ground like bamboo shoots cut by a sword. Kraus, Kyrie, and Nanjo didn't even have a clue what had just happened.
Dr. Nanjo, which way down the corridor goes to the mansion?
Oh, of course. In and to the left. In and to the left.
Let's go, Kraus. Virgilia will notice us at any moment now. What in the world are you guys? We are...
When Cannon hung his head a little and faltered, Shannon slapped his shoulder, smiled, and spoke.
We're human.
Oh, Christ. This is... Am I gonna split this episode? Because this is like fucking crazy bullshit happening right now.
Virgilia! Response from the lookout web. It's a jailbreak! The goat guards aren't there for some reason.
What? Why? It's a gap, isn't it? Taking someone else's summonings without asking. Gap! 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 Oh shit, why? Is her eye always like that? I could have sworn it wasn't.
Confirming battle regulations. Requesting permission to fire at the escapees.
Do it! Kill them! Shit! Gap! 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 Yeah! Oh fuck. Oh no, her eye isn't always like that. I thought so.
Understood. 45, 410, prepare for sniping pursuit combat. Ammo type guided cluster rounds. Virgilia, an escape prevention barrier if you would. Yes, you're right. I won't let you escape from here.
Ow, bit my tongue saying gap gap. The underground passage in front of them was once again blocked by metal bars. It's this place. The door was of course locked. However, that was no problem for them right now. Cannon, it's those metal bars again. We're counting on you. Yes, Kraus.
Still, that's incredible. I wonder what kind of principle it works on.
I'm not interested in principles. All that matters is that he can sever the metal bars and that we can escape from here. Don't worry, Cannon. Do it! Leave it to me. Cannon sliced the metal bars again with his red curved blade, but there was a harsh, strange noise and the metal bars only had a slight scratch. What's this? These are sturdy. Wrong. They're enchanted. It's one of Virgilia's magic locks.
Can you cut through it?
Of course, but it will take time. We'll wait 3 minutes. After taking a deep breath and concentrating his mind, Cannon extended a red curved sword again. When he pressed it hard against the metal bars, sparks sprayed, almost as though he was melting through it with a burner. It looks like we'll be able to cut it, but it'll be tough.
Kraus, you've been targeted by the enemy. Please move back. Huh? Pursuers? There's no one coming. Please get behind me. They're aiming for you.
Uh-oh. 45. Wait.
45. Data received. Target lock acquired. Commencing terrain calculation error correction. Formulating firing curve. Supplemental control point calculations complete. Data link to 410.
410. Data received. Checking hazard zone. No problems.
00. Loading 48 sub-rounds. Individual homing F&F. Guided cluster rounds. Preparations complete. 45. Firing preparations concluded. Loading guiding into cluster rounds.
410. Firing. Uh-oh. The golden arrow that sparked gold was fired, leaving a gold tail streaming behind. It drew a curve, went through the door, through the keyhole, down the stairs, towards the unguarded underground path at full speed. Something shown.
You can't block the golden arrow with a shield. Cannon, interception stance. Let's link.
Gatekeeper, understood. It's been a long time since I fought with you, Shannon. Don't screw up.
Yeah, I'll be serious.
And there's no problem. Cannon stopped cutting the bars and stood in front of Shannon. Behind him, Shannon closed her eyes, concentrating her mind deep into the darkness of the underground path. Oh shit, another CG! Well, maybe that's technically a CG. I don't know if it would be. Because Cannon has like some super slidey thing, doesn't he? A guided cluster round is a special kind of arrow made up of 48 sub-rounds bound together. It explodes mid-flight and divides into 48 mini-arrows. The strength of each individual one is low, but they pierce through all shields and possess a perfect wounding and killing power against personnel. And on top of that, each one of the 48 possesses autonomous guidance towards their individual targets. It's shown. It's divided.
Confirming guided cluster round division. 46, 7, 8. 48 sub-rounds. All rounds locked onto. Interception control. Data link to Cannon.
Also, this data link thing is... What the... Cannon. Data received. I thought this was just some with the Chester sisters. You're incredible, Shannon. You can actually see all 48.
Concentrate on interception prioritization. Trust your sister.
Of course. I don't even need to open my eyes.
Commencing interception.
Oh my god, what the fuck? They're just gonna do that 48 times.
Target unharmed. It was intercepted. Yeah? All 48 of them?
After all, Shannon and Cannon were originally a furniture pair. They're strong when they're together. Ow. Is this gonna become a mouthful or something? Don't try to throw comedy into this. Calm down. Reload. Reload! Updating ammo type. Precision light speed sniper rounds. Preparing for precision sniping.
Sounds good, yeah? Impossible to intercept super high speed rounds. Impossible for a mere gatekeeper to defend against, yeah? Precision sniping. Roger that. Commencing collection of precision firing use data.
What in the world was that just now? Don't worry, I don't have a clue either. All I know is that we would have died if not for these two.
Cannon, thanks. Go back to the metal bars. The next shot will probably be one we can't intercept.
How can we defend against such an attack?
We don't let them shoot. Cannon, initiate spirit particle combat countermeasures.
At those words, Cannon closed his eyes tightly and ground his teeth. With Shannon at the center, a pressure and impact that only non-humans could perceive struck. Oh, this shit again. Fuck's going on?
Huh? Firing system error. No good. Rebooting. Huh?
It's spirit wave jamming. Activate spirit particle safeguards. Hurry. What are you doing? Cover yours quickly, 45. An unseen, unheard impact has struck the Chester sisters. 00 and 410 crouched down, covering their ears, but 45 didn't make it in time. As she stood bolt upright, her eyes rolled.
Cute. Cute. 45 got damaged. Her IME's busted. Yeah, the noise is also horrible for me, yeah.
45, 410, and 00, damaged, abandoning sniping posture. We came straight through the link. If we don't reboot. Raising their spirit particle sensitivity for precision sniping had backfired. They had taken the full brunt of the spirit particle shockwave Shannon had released. And not only 45, who had been hit directly, but also 00 and 410, who had been linked with her, were taken down. Are you okay? I'll make you some more delicious black tea later, so get a hold of yourselves. My apologies, sir. Rebooting. Please wait several hundred seconds. All of the Chester sisters had fallen over. They would probably get back up eventually, but it looked like it would be hard for them to return to the battle lines for a while. So furniture was able to repel weapons, if only for a moment. Oh shit, fuck, no! Close your eye! See, a plot to entertain that child surely will be filled with unexpected turns. Virgilia toward the air with a large gesture, motioning as though opening a door. Come, arise, goat attendants. It's time to work. Catch and kill the escapees. Corpses are fine, we can just revive them anyway. Holy shit. Ah! A gold-colored door opened in the air, and countless giant goats with muscular bodies peeked their faces out. Come now, hurry! There are 5 escapees, so the fastest 5 of you win. It would be a wonderful prize, so give it your all. Give it your all! Virgilia clapped her hands, urging them on. A prize? After facing each other at those words, the goats all rushed to the door at once, trying to get out, making the exit as packed as the Tozai or the Yamanote rail lines in the morning. Each wanted to get out first, so none of them could get out. Virgilia held her head in frustration. By that time, Cannon had managed to cut enough bars to make a crack that could be slipped through. It had been a bit of work for Kraus, large as he was, and Nanjo with his lethal waist. But even so, they all managed to make it through. But after they did, they only had a couple seconds to be relieved. Immediately, another set of metal bars blocked the way in front of them. This just reminds me of the end of fucking Ocarina of Time now. This certainly is secure. I'll bet they really didn't want the people in here to escape. Cannon, sorry, but I'll have to ask you again. It may be tough, but please. There was sweat on Cannon's forehead. You could tell at a glance that cutting the metal bars, which had been made even more solid by magic, had physically exhausted him. Yes, leave it to me, Kraus. Only you can do it! Please, we're counting on you! Only he could do it. Holding tightly onto those words, Cannon concentrated his mind once again, and set himself to the task of cutting metal bars again. Enemies are coming from behind! Multiple targets! Yeah, this time even we can tell. The ground's really shaking. I can tell that some ridiculous monsters are rushing at us. Don't worry. I'll use a magic lock to make a blockade of the metal bars we just came through. Mere goats won't be able to break it. Shannon held her arm out towards the metal bars they had gone through. But she stopped right away. What is it? Virgilia had started neutralizing the spirit wave jamming. It'll be bad if it's broken, and we'll lose the initiative once the Chester sisters are rebooted. I'll make you pay in full for bullying these cute bunnies. Stop! Don't do that! If you're trying to gain the advantage with those clever spirit particles of yours, I'll tear all that away and rob you of that. Shannon, concentrate on the spirit wave jamming. The gap in those metal bars is too narrow for those goats. It should hold them back for a while. I don't have a clue what you're saying, but we know it's something pretty bad. Kyrie picked up a metal bar that Cannon had just cut. Kraus had no weapon, but he rubbed his fists, and the two of them glared into the depths of the underground passage where the shaking was coming from. I believe these are the final metal bars blocking the way. How far is it to the mansion from here? Quite a walk. The path is even, but I seem to remember walking for 30 minutes. So if we run all out, it'll be half that time. They couldn't tell for sure since they didn't have the three-sided mirror, but there was no guarantee that George and Jessica would still be alright against demon opponents after all this time. If we run at twice the speed of walking, it'll be 15 minutes, and twice that speed would make it 8, 7.5. And if we sprint all out at double that speed, it won't even take 5. No problem. What an unreasonable calculation. But that's how you calculate in a fire. My sincere apologies, everyone. Please watch my back. Leave it to us. Cannon, you cut the bars as fast as you can. Shannon, you concentrate on jamming this witch called Virgilia or whatever. Kyrie and I will defend against our pursuers. Then the roars of the beast rang out from the darkness, and several fiery, glowing, bright red eyes appeared. Goats that were several levels more massive than the guards were rushing with an incredible force. The tremors they created were almost like an earthquake. They brought a frightening intensity and terror, but Kyrie actually laughed with relief. Those massive bodies wouldn't be able to go through the crack in the bars. What the fuck? The group of goats crashed into the metal bars with a fierce sound like that of a train colliding with a dead end. Clumps of dirt fell here and there from the ceiling, and you could tell that the metal bars had been bent as if collapsing. Their charging power probably was on par with a train. If the metal bars hadn't been there, they would have likely overwhelmed the 5 of them and crushed them in an instant. When the group of goats pressing up against the metal bars noticed the 5 people right in front of them, they let out a terrible howl, trying to intimidate the 5. Or maybe that was out of pain from their game of push and shove. One calm goat among them figured out what should be done about the metal bars, then grabbed 2 of them with its massive arms and began bending them as though opening double doors. Kyrie sharply jabbed her metal pole at that goat's vitals. The goat let out a roar of anguish. It probably hurt a lot, but that was all. It wasn't enough to bring it down.
Kraus.
Still holding the metal pole she had stuck out, Kyrie relinquished the opposite tip to Kraus. Kraus ran there with all his might, jumped up and kicked down with all his weight and kicking power combined. All of that destructive power was focused on a single pole, drilling it in. Team combo! That one's just like, oh fuck. Are you okay? Please don't rub the affected area. I'll prescribe some medicine later. Take care. As the goat who'd taken a pile bunker to its vitals writhed with teary eyes, it nodded its head.
Looks like our link isn't that bad either. We won't lose to Shannon and Cannon.
Naturally, for a loving family like us. We can do it if we take them together. Next that one on the right. Understood. That was you who said that. You really are a good wife. That Rudolph must have grumbled a little too much.
Oh, tell me more about it later. Rudolph, suddenly turning pale in heaven won't do you any good, okay?
Oh my god, this is taking so long. The goats' massive bodies were buried in rose bushes. Even taking into account that a leg's power is 3 times that of an arm's, this strength surpassed common sense. To think that those massive bodies had been kicked in the chin and flown through the air, it was too fierce. Even George seemed a little surprised.
To think that my kick works on monsters too.
Now there's a shock.
It's because of your counterattack style barrier. The attacking power that grazes you is added onto your own. Your kick has been supplemented by those monsters' superhuman strength.
Oh? I don't really get it, but isn't that just perfect for me?
No matter who attacks me, they should be prepared for a counterattack of equal measure. Non-aggressive defense. That's my policy.
That's why Gab couldn't easily touch him. The counterattack style barrier had no defensive power. However, because of its countering ability, it could be useful in defense by making the opponent hesitate to attack. The goats had been foolish and so had attacked without worrying, but this second effect had worked in full against Gab.
These guys really are dull. When your power's even, it's always an advantage to have a smaller build.
He lightly dodged the log-like arms. When those arms touched the barrier that protected George, they left off a strong red light. The tip of the counter-attacking foot would then gain the same sparkle, and the superhuman power of the goat added to its own. The second goat fell forward and floated in the air for a second. Then George's next roundhouse kick missed right over the falling goat's head. For an instant, the goat hoped it might get away with its life. But no! The heel was dropped onto the back of its head, and it was forced to kiss the ground.
Going from a high roundhouse kick into a nary chuggy is pretty basic, right? Works pretty well every now and then.
This guy is a problem. Seriously a problem.
What do you mean, demons? What do you mean, witches? The rulers of Rokenjima are the Ushiromiyas family. I'll make you physically aware of that.
You... The only way to finish off George, now that his body was wrapped up in a counterattack style barrier, was to deny him a chance to counterattack. Nothing to do but suck him into the abyss next, then kick and drop him, kick and drop him, kick and drop him, until she kicked him to death. But George had already completely seen through the faint warning signs that told of the appearance of Gap's pitfalls. If he could jump over that next pitfall, then this time he would probably pulverize Gap's head with his whirlwind-like kick, without holding back in the slightest. Justice had been done to his parents. She was able to envision that scene vividly. Gap hated Kinzo more than ever for calling her out to this ridiculous island. Even though Ronove held out a shield, he had finally started using his hands. Without a more powerful shield, he wouldn't be able to block Jessica's fists anymore. The enchantment on Jessica's fists grew the more she fought. The permeating upgrade had already grown several times, and those fists had also been given an impact upgrade, a piercing upgrade, and a speed upgrade, making them fists worthy to fight on par with a demon. Oh shit.
What's wrong? Starting to get tired?
Oh, that's her. What's wrong? Starting to get tired? You're getting all slow. No. Your movements and thoughts and kinetic vision have been rapidly enchanted. My movements have not changed from the beginning. Your movements are beginning to catch up to me. And you still won't fight back? This is my style. However, I cannot allow it to continue at this rate. It's about time for me to get serious and end this. Ronove's face turned into an expression he hadn't shown before. It was full of respect for Jessica in a truly demonic way. Because it was an expression he only showed for enemies who made him get serious. Uh-oh. A purple shield. That's the same expression I've seen a million times. Whoa? What the? With a gesture of his whole body that you couldn't call elegant, Ronove held out a shield with all his strength. A shield the size and thickness of a wall. It was more tenacious than a simple shield. It literally was a wall. And on top of that, with all of Ronove's magical power, it pushed Jessica back bit by bit. Did he plan on pushing her back against the wall and crushing her to death? Oh, Jesus. Jessica tried to break through the wall with both fists, but it was solid. Without any exaggeration, it was solid. Is this what you call serious? No problem, I'll break right through it! I will not let you this time. This wall is somewhat different. Here, allow me to enchant it as well. When Ronove made a magic sign almost like a ninja, the wall glowed red for just an instant, and some kind of ominous power dwelt within it. Jessica was able to recognize that almost immediately with her body. Oh shit. Every time her fist hit the wall, pain as though glass fragments had scattered and hit all over her body rebounded against her. I upgraded it with attack reactive armor, an exceptional item that will decrease the force of your attacks by counterbalancing them, and which can even counterattack with reactive fragments. It's perfectly fine to keep punching it, but doing so will damage you as well. In short, it's an endurance test between me and your wall. No problem. Will you fall to your knees first or be pushed into the wall first? Allow me to observe. Except I might break through it and smash that whole wall along with your face, right? Watch it! Motorcycle gun, man! Without hesitation, Jessica punched using both fists. Each time she did, a large amount of shards scattered, torturing her entire body. Instantly, several red gases appeared all over her. She grimaced at the intense agony, but her eyes were burning with fighting spirit, and her lips curved in a grin that stood in sharp contrast to the pain.